In Google Advertising, you can pay and set up a pre-packaged plan with someone to give you a shout out. So today, our shout out goes to nothing because we're not monetized.
And we may never be monetized.
Nope.
Thank you very much for joining this episode of Film Club. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Harrison. To my right, as always, it's the monetized Andy Donaldson.
Non-monetized.
Every time somebody speaks or looks at you, you get a pound.
And do you know what? Because we're non-monetized, I can use the F word.
Fudge stickles?
Yes. So,
every single week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us. We dive into some of Cinema's best book. I'm back here to talk it out. Andy, this week, The Raid. Go.
Fuck yes.
Didn't hit the minute mark.
I don't care. But so, The Raid, which is an Indonesian film created by a Welsh director. There's one for you. It's about a film of a raid block. Anyone who's seen Dread, the new Dread that came out, it's very similar to that. So, The Raid is cell block.
Is that how the new Judge Dredd is framed?
Oh, mate. Have you not seen Dread?
No.
Oh, my God.
I've seen the old one. It's Stallone.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, we're not going to do for the week after next.
Yeah, it's a good
mate. Absolutely.
Can we do it backwards then? So we do that and then the Stallone version of Judge Dredd.
Maybe.
You love Stallone.
Maybe.
Rising up.
So it's going up a tower block, to get this chief of a clan, like kind of a mafia boss sort of thing, an underground boss anyway.
An evil guy who hammers people to death in the head.
Yeah. It's pretty rough. So there's a group of them that are going up, and it turns out that they have no backup like this. They get locked down inside the building, and it's just a fight for survival. So the major point in this film, let's just jump into why this film was made.
What is the major point?
So I found this quite fascinating. I didn't know this because when I seen The Raid before, it was only through snippets and bits on YouTube, and it was like a bit when it came on TV, but I was never started the film from the start to understand what it was about. It was just coming in between, like when my brother was watching it, someone would come back. It's made by a guy called Gareth Evans, who went over in Indonesia to do a documentary called Footsteps or something.
I know he's over there to do a documentary. I've never seen the documentary.
And it's based about a form of pencak silat, if I pronounce that right. It's a Indonesian martial art. Anyway, so he became fascinated with it. Yeah. He did a film before. And what's really cool about this film before is he found a guy for his documentary. He found the guy who's the main character of this film.
Convinced his wife to cast him, right?
I can't remember, but basically this guy was a delivery driver for a phone company, right?
Yeah.
And he was just like, this guy was like really like charismatic and stuff, and like I seemed really good. And then obviously you could do the martial art as well. And then he cast him in this other film, and then that led on to a bigger project, which became The Raid, and became a bigger project, which is The Raid 2. So how cool is that for a backstory for a film? I think it's fucking awesome.
It's really cool, and I think that sort of like grassroots version of upbringing a film and growing a film and finding your cast actually shows in the film a lot.
So Aiko Uwais is the guy running about the main character who came from this deliverer of like cell phone sort of thing, mobile phones. I'm British, and basically he became this mad actor. It's like a hugely successful action film. Came out in 2011, yeah. So it came out in 2011.
And is it safe to say that this is like the most successful Indonesian film ever? Because if I'm honest, I couldn't name you another Indonesian film.
And we don't mean that in a bad way. It's just,
no.
It's not really released in the Western market as much.
I'm sure there are tons of amazing Indonesian films out there, but if you go to somebody and say, hey, you've seen The Raid, they're going to go, oh my God, The Raid's so good, blah, blah, blah.
Because The Raid is awesome. The Raid is a great example of modern-day martial arts films. Again, we're going back to the Jackie Chan film that we did, Police Story, and you look at all these other ones.
There's a lot of Jackie Chan in this.
I know, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Like you said, in the last video, I was on about how it wasn't an article, it was a YouTube video. I can't quite remember. I'll try and put the link below. And I will. And it was about like how the different martial arts changed. Like look at Old Boy, where it's a fight for survival. You look at Jackie Chan using the objects around him. The Raid, it was all about using that. I can't pronounce the martial art I just mentioned. And about like again similar using the objects, but I reckon it's a good mix of Old Boy, whereas the fight for survival, but also Jackie Chan in the sense of using the objects, using surfaces, using everything. What a great combination.
They're a bit more gritty and a bit more desperate in the way they fight, kind of like Old Boy.
Yeah.
But they still have a choreography more like
Jackie
Chan.
The choreography is so stunning.
Whereas like, when you're watching that Jackie Chan film, especially when watching Police Story a couple of weeks ago, you could kind of notice every time he was about to do a stunt, it was always a little bit over the top. These guys ground it a bit more.
Yeah.
And make it feel a bit more threatening.
It works as well, because it's just some of the stuff they get up to, and it's just, you think it's over, but no, it's just like this little bit of grasping on and all this.
And the whole thing, like basically the whole film is like, it's kind of one action sequence that is just intercut with small little character moments.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I remember the raid before, and this is what people said to me, like my little snippets I've seen, everyone said it's just like you said, a nearly 2-hour long action film. And I was like, sounds fucking awesome, man. And watching it now, actually seeing it like all in one. It's like when I did What We Do in the Shadows. I knew a lot about the film, but I'd never seen it. Sorry, chronologically.
You touched me.
And now seeing this, I'm just like, I'm genuinely blown away. It was awesome. It was such a fun experience. It's such a fun film to watch, but also gritty, as he said. It was terrifying, or like, you know, horrible at parts. You know, quite gory indeed.
It is. And I think this is where it starts to differentiate from something like the Jackie Chan films. So whereas Jackie Chan has this kind of rule that he likes to shoot everything wide,
and also that he's got like a lot of humor.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And so there's this horrible trend in modern cinema where as soon as you go into an action sequence, you cut. You know, you almost never see the actual impact of a blow.
Yeah.
Because people are always cutting around that because they're faking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like Jackie Chan, when he was making his films, came along and he went, well, we know how to fight, so we're just going to show you that fighting. And it means that we don't have to cut. Instead, what we can do is we can show you on a nice wide shot this lovely choreographed work, and you get to watch the whole thing.
You just get to watch what a fight would really be like.
Yeah, and the energy instead comes from their performances.
Yep.
Now, what the raid does instead is it kind of blends those two things together. It will often have the camera moving in very close. It'll often have the camera moving to try and help impact things. But they don't quite cut as much as a more contemporary Hollywood film would. They're actually cutting a lot less. And they're actually kind of showing you lots of the impacts and cutting in between instead.
Well, to give like a different perspective of how it looks.
So
this way,
every time someone gets punched, you see the punch.
Yeah.
Then once they move away from that shot, then they're cut. So it's actually kind of this lovely blending of these two traditional styles.
I think obviously it's his own film. It's a film about the Indonesian martial art. Again, I can't pronounce it. I haven't got there on my phone. But it's also a great reference, as we mentioned there, like to Old Boy, to Jackie Chan, other martial art films. And what you said just there about the camera work, I thought was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So this camera, for the most part, is handheld.
Yeah.
And it seems to be on some sort of rig sometimes, be that a steady cam or a fig rig or whatever. And they're using that, one, to amp up the tension, two, to make things feel so kind of like unnerving and to make things so unstable. Kind of like, you know, representative of how those characters are feeling in that moment.
Do you remember that part where he's on the side and the camera's just on an angle like that, and it's because he's just been battered in his head, and he's like, oh shit, like this, and the camera's representing that by being on a slant. It's not, you know, like horizontal.
Yeah, you know, yeah. And like they do a lot of stuff. They move the camera so much as well, which is so cool to see. Again, we kind of came across that a little bit with Old Boy last week, but they're moving that camera so much that like that's kind of what helps them get away from having to cut so much, because they know that they've got these long sort of choreographed fight sequences that don't just have like a small contained fight sequence. Instead, they move through like long environments, and they kind of, these fight sequences will go from like one floor to another floor, from one room to the room, from a corridor to another room, and like they're lengthy and they just keep going. And like the idea of having to script that, the idea of having to choreograph that is kind of astounding. Like, how do you really get your head around?
Yep. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to go in that room, but then we're going to go back to that room, but then we're going to get these guys coming down, knocking on the walls, and completely cut down the pace of it, but also add an eerie bit of tension, then come back into the fight.
Clear that's where their attention was in this film as well. They absolutely, their attention and their scripting was all about like the movement of the people and how things are going, because the film is at its absolute best when it is just action.
Yep.
And it's when people are fighting. It's at its worst and it's at its weakest, I think, when people are talking.
Okay. Just a little shout out to cinematography, Matt Flannery and Dimas Imam Subono, if I've pronounced that right, do apologise. So the script you had issues with, or you just thought it was great? Because just a little bit.
No. So if anybody at home ever has this problem in distinguishment, the script does not mean the dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah, the script is the actual scripting of the film, the structure of the film, the plotting of the film, the pacing of the film. And I think the film does a lot of that very well. Its character, be it through dialogue or be it through directorial intent or just be it through the fact that that's not where their attention was, that falls down. Like the fact that we open with this guy having this cliche thing of, I've got a pregnant wife at home, but I have to go do the raid. And then it comes up later on that like his brother is one of the people who they're fighting against. And then like everybody's screwing everybody over. Why? Who knows, really? And you kind of go like, okay, just get back to punching each other. Because the punching each other is fucking brilliant.
Okay.
Now, bear in mind, those statements have just come from me.
Yeah,
The person who doesn't want to watch people punch each other. The person who wants to watch people sit down and talk.
Good point. Good point.
This film completely flips the script. Pun intended, yes.
I don't mind those moments as much. I get what you were on about the pregnant wife and stuff like that, but the bits with about his brother and stuff, I thought it was a nice addition. I thought it was a nice, come here, like this, and they're trying to work it out, which culminates into this amazing fight with the Mad Dog guy, and they're both trying to take on this, who he just called an older version of my little brother. That's his words, Richard, not mine. And yeah, I really like the brother moment. I like how they're just sitting down talking. Again, one of those moments where the pace just shortens and it's just like them two kind of like catching up. And it's like, this is my life here, your life's there. I'm totally on board with that. I'm totally on board with it. And then obviously they come back and he gets his boss knows that he's dicked him over. And then they have that amazing fight. Like that is for me the equivalent of the old boy fight where the shot pans over. And it's the one fight I remember from the raid, and it's incredible. And eventually, again, it's a fight of stamina. It's one where two brothers overtake like the crazy guy, who I didn't realize. I thought that the Mad Dog guy and a brother, I thought their roles were swapped. So obviously you got one who's like a crazy fighter and you got one who's like the brains behind the operation. I thought his brother was the fighter because obviously you got that lift scene with the stab in the neck.
Yeah.
And then you got the other guy who's a bit calm and collected and say, you know what you're doing. Turns out that upon reading it just like 5 minutes ago that I was completely wrong and the roles were reversed. And it was the older guy that was like the kind of the crazy fighter and it was the brother that was the brains of the operation. So I was like, oh well, I just learned it there. It didn't make any difference. I was just like, that makes sense why that guy's such a good fighter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
the music was awesome as well. Just to point out, the music was class.
The music is really good, actually.
It was done by I'm gonna mess up here. Celluloid Nightmares. Celluloid Nightmares. Sorry.
Who is that? Is that an artist? Because that's not a name. Celluloid be film.
Yeah. So and sorry, but yeah. Anyway.
So anyway,
oh shit, Mike Shinoda
is. Hang on. Mike Shinoda, as in Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park, worked on this.
Yeah.
Side note, actually, we completely didn't.
Holy shit!
We didn't open this up at the beginning of the episode, which I kind of wanted to, but the film's actually called The Raid Redemption.
Yes. I just noticed The Raid.
It's called The Raid Redemption in America.
US release.
Is it called The Raid Redemption here
The Raid
in the UK?
Elsewhere, I think it's just US release. It's Redemption.
It's like apparently they couldn't secure the rights to the name for some reason.
Why?
No idea. It's very strange. I guess there must be something else called The Raid, like that stuff you spray insects with. So anyway, there is The Raid. You can let us know in the comments below what you thought of The Raid, or you can hit us up on Twitter, as always. But Andy and I are going to be back once again next week, where we take a look at, continuing this on, The Raid 2.
Yes, if you hadn't guessed, we really like this film, so we're going to continue it on.
The Raid 2, Further Redemption.
God. End this.
Until then, get watching.